Michael Neal, FLW Tour Pro. And today I'm going to tell you a few things that people often do wrong when fishing the ledges. The number one thing is to make sure you have a good lineup. A lot of people, when you idle over the top of them, you may be zigzagging, whatever you're doing, going in a circle. Well, just because you see them on the screen doesn't necessarily mean that you automatically know where you're at. So a good idea, especially starting out, is to throw your marker buoy out, go in straight lines. Go dead at a big tree on the bank, a big house, a big point, something that you'll remember, and drop your buoy right out the side of the boat. And that way, when you line that buoy up with that landmark, you're in the right spot. And also, don't get too close. A lot of people like to get too close to the fish. They don't really realize how far away you are. When you see them on the graph, you don't want to instantly drop the buoy, because then when the line brings the bait back to you a little bit when it's falling. So that's not necessarily going to get you in the strike zone. Wait till they're almost off if you got a split screen graph, almost off the screen, drop the buoy, spin around, make you a good long cast to the buoy, fishing all the way back to the boat. Another thing that people mess up with is always trying to just beat them in the head with the same bait. Say you've caught them on a swim bait pretty good, you caught a few on a crankbait, well, they shut off. Chances are they're not going to bite another moving bait for a long time unless you move off of them and come back. Then you can catch them again. And that's when I like to pick up something like a football head jig or whatever, and I call it a cleanup bait. That's something I don't necessarily bank on catching all my fish on, but it's guaranteed to help you pick up a few key fish throughout the day. And then another thing is just people don't know when to stay or when to go. It's often hard to, if you pull up on a school, somebody just left it, you're probably not going to be able to pull in there and just absolutely bust them. You got to let these fish, they know when they're getting fished. They know what the sounds like coming out of the transducer, the ticking over the top of their head, especially on these Tennessee River lakes. They hear it all day, every day. It's often key to actually, if you know how the fish are set up and line them up, you've got a waypoint where you set the boat, where you caught one in practice, turn your graphs off, turn the sonar off, just leave it on the straight mapping. That way you know where you're at, you pull up, you set on your waypoint, and you make the right cast, you get the skull fired up, then you're going to catch some extra fish.